on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
Hola and welcome back. The final hour of O'Connor and Company. I am Derek Hunter, sitting in for vacationing Larry O'Connor alongside Patrice Onwuka here on this glorious, sweaty, smelly, but still it's a Friday. I'll take any bad weather on a Friday as long as I get the Friday. And there are certain universal truths in the world, Patrice. One is never get involved in a land war in Asia. Another one is never stand between Chuck Schumer and a TV camera. And the third one is never take on Mark Levin. It's just bad idea all around. Target decided for some weird reason that they would not only not carry his book, but they'd tell his publisher, we're not going to carry his book in some sort of weird progressive principled stand because they didn't want to offend Democrats. The new book, of course, is The Democrat Party Hates America, because it's true. It's true. And so Mark let the world know, and the world let Target know. And 24 hours later, Target has caved, for lack of a better word. So the man, the myth, and the legend is joining us now, the great one, Mark Levin. How are you doing, my friend?
I am great. Derek and Company, how are the two of you?
Doing good.
It's a Friday, so I mean, how could anybody be doing bad? Except for Target.
It's true.
First of all, tell us how you found out. How did the book's coming out? It's available for pre-order, and there are thousands and thousands of pre-orders. And I assume your publisher is like, that's weird. Target hasn't really ordered a bunch of copies for their stores. So did they reach out to Target, or did Target reach out and just say, by the way, we're not going to order your book?
Well, they did. They ordered 30,000 copies, and then they canceled them. They said, we're not going to carry the book in the stores because it may offend some of our customers. Unlike the Pride underwear for 4-year-olds in the infant section. And also, but we'll carry it on Target.com where people can order it, where, of course, everybody goes to get their books. But it's a retail store. That's what Target is. They're not even known for selling that many books. They sold a ton of books with American Marxism. We have not so far had any problem with Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. They've been fabulous. We're still waiting to hear from Costco. But that said, Target gets back to the publisher and says, we've decided not to carry the book in the stores because the title, particularly the word hate, may offend some of our customers. And I said, capitalism cuts both ways. You're free to do whatever you want, and God bless you. I don't need Target. But that's not the point. It's the principle. Right. Books are like water. People want to get a book. They know where to go. They can get it no matter where, whether Target sells it or not. But my point here was principle. I didn't push a boycott. I didn't say, let's all boycott, although I do boycott Target. I haven't stepped in there since they've gone nuts. But I thought, you know what? We've got to set an example here. We really do it because these people are cocky. They're evil. They're diabolical. They're Democrat Party surrogates for all intents and purposes. They're boards of directors. I'm talking about companies generally anymore. They're not patriotic. They'll do business in China the snap of a finger if they can make an extra buck. This isn't capitalism of the kind we used to practice during World War II. These companies are really outrageous. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to go in the air. I'm going to explain this, maybe not as articulately as I should have, but I did the best I could. And I said, folks, this is what's going on. They're not going to carry it in the store because they're concerned the Democrats won't like the title. Now, if there was a book titled Republicans Hate America, would we be all saying, don't, I'd want to read it and respond to it. And I might agree with Chapter 7 for all I know. But that said, this is how the other side operates. And I said, enough of this crap. So I just decided to put my foot down. And they contacted my publisher and said, we're sorry for all the back and forth. We're going to order 30,000 copies, which they did last time for their inventory, which is very nice of them, I guess. Thank you. But
it's, the thing is,
it would have been
it's really easy to do the right thing after you exercise every other option. And so many of these woke corporations do that. And I'm afraid that so many people will go, well, good, now we can go back to Target. This is an ongoing, it's about behavior. a pattern
Right.
of behavior, not necessarily one particular incident. And by the way, it's backfired on them if they wanted to stifle your book. You're at #2 on Amazon, and I know how many that means you're selling in a day. But it's about the principle here. Do you think, is there anything these corporations will ever do that will go like, you know what, we should probably stop stepping in bear traps? Because they're sitting there right on the sidewalk in the middle of the day, bright as day, and they just don't, walk up and jump in these bear traps constantly, offending 50% of the population for no reason whatsoever, and they do it repeatedly.
The problem, Derek, is this. Most of the people who run these corporations, like Disney and so forth, they didn't create these corporations. Walt Disney created Disney and the people around him. Same with Target, same with all these companies. So these are basically overpaid bureaucrats, and they get on these boards, and most of them are Democrat. I've had to live with it on the broadcast side. It's the same thing. And this whole, and I'm going to call it what I believe, this whole American Marxist movement, the conquering of the culture, is thorough. It is unconscionable, and people better wake up to it. So I said, you know what? If you're going to target me, what about conservative authors who don't have the platforms I have? Yeah. You're going to screw everybody. So I said, you just indicated to the whole world that you're not going to carry my book, excuse me, because of the word hate. No, you're not going to carry the book because of the word Democrat. And I just decided we'll draw the line right here, and whatever happens, happens, and I'm going to duke it out. And if anybody else does it, I'm going to duke it out again, just so you know. The left is very upset about this. And, I got an inquiry last night from the Daily Bestiality. And they we're going to take a look at this. They say, we'll take all the looks you want. I'll take you on, too. I don't care. People need to understand it's now or never. Free speech. The ability to write it and people to read it, is it really that terrible? Anyway, there you have it.
Well, what I would appreciate, sir, is just what is in the book that they are so afraid of in this new book that they don't want to get out. And, your title kind of says it all, but I would love for you to give us a little bit of a preview on exactly what secrets you are exposing that they don't want us to know.
I like Derek, and now I know I like you, too. That's a great question. Unfortunately, I'm in the car, and it just switched over, so I'll do the best I can. They're going to hate the contents of this book. If you're a radical left-wing, Biden-supporting, Obama, praying Democrat, you're not going to want to read this book. It's not for you, because you are the problem. And I talk about in this book, we talk about, oh, look what's happening at the border. Oh, look what's happening at the White House. Oh, look what's happening with our children in the schools. Oh, look how they're destroying our life. Who is they? Has the Democrat Party stood up against any of this cultural rot? No, they're participating in it. They believe in it. It's their teachers' union. They run the government. They are the state party. That's what they are. The Republican Party is passive. Here and there we have some great leaders, but you can't call McConnell a great leader. So they roll the Republican Party. So we, the people, we're on our own, essentially. This isn't a book attacking the Republican Party because it's irrelevant in this respect. The Democrat Party wants to destroy this country, and it's well on the way of doing it. And it's been doing it for 150 years, whether it's the Confederacy, whether it's that's slavery, whether it's segregation, whether it's Jim Crow. Now it's the American Marxist movement, the war on capitalism, open borders, the war on citizenship. None of this could happen without the Democrat Party promoting it. And the Democrat Party has never, ever accepted Americanism. Doesn't accept the Declaration, doesn't accept the Constitution, and it hates us. So I said, for God's sakes, it's time for people to explain this. So I explain it in the book. It's the longest book I've ever written, 100,000 words, but it's in plain English. I think it's by far my most important and favorite book. My wife read it. People, oh, it's your wife. No, she's tough. Like your wife. She's tough. Yeah. And she said, Mark, it reads like a novel. It does, but a very sad novel. So that's what the book is about.
Mark, before we let you go, I've got to ask you, you spent a lot of time in the White House. You were chief of staff to the great Ed Meese, who's one of the nicest people in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
The cocaine found in the White House, you've been through that security before. It's a little tighter after 9/11, I imagine. But where do you fall on? We found like 4 different places where this cocaine was allegedly found. We can't even get a straight answer out of this White House. Where do you think? Do you think we'll ever know the mystery of the walking bag of cocaine?
Look, what do I know? I doubt it. But let me explain to people. To get into that particular doorway, you have to get into the White House compound, first of all. It's not the public area. You got to get through security which is all over the gated area. You have to get into the compound. It's across from the old executive office building. It's where they park so many of the Secret Service cars and the Vice President's car. You go in there. There's another uniformed Secret Service guy there. It's loaded with Secret Service. You can't get in unless somebody who holds a White House pass walks you in. Even regular staff in the old executive offices, they can't just walk into the West Wing. So this is somebody who the family knows or who is a very significant level. And it's not just anybody walking off the street. And I have to be honest with you. If the Secret Service, with the help of the FBI, can't figure this out, then they ought to just give up. They ought to have their budget slashed by 100%, maybe 50%, because this is Mickey Mouse stuff in terms of their investigative activities, right? This should be.
How long did it take to look at the tape, for God's sakes?
They got video everywhere, and they say, well, we can't find the DNA and the fingerprints. Excuse me, are you out of your minds? So I don't know what's going on, but this is part and parcel of the whole thing. This family is corrupt. They're nuts. They are crooked, and it resonates throughout this administration, especially the Department of Justice. But in terms of this cocaine thing, I mean, let me ask you two a question. You're in law enforcement, and you find cocaine. Who comes to your mind first?
The way I put it
that's
is,
an easy answer.
if you're on a golf course and you find 2 beheaded bodies in the bathroom of the clubhouse and you find out that OJ is on the 7th tee, you probably start with him. Doesn't necessarily mean he did it, but you at least start with him.
100%. So did they interview Hunter? I'll bet you they'll never interview Hunter. Ever.
Never.
And I'm not
Mark
saying it's him
Levin.
either. How do I know?
There's a reason they call him the Great One. You can listen to him every day from 6 to 9 right here on WMAL. We kept you long, but the book, The Democrat Party Hates America, is available September 19th. Get it pre-order now. There's thousands and thousands of people doing just that. It's number 2 on Amazon. Mark, have a great weekend. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much.
God bless.